Good evening, everybody. Hey, Marcus C. Williams here. How you guys doing tonight? So, we're going to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and maximizing your resources that you already have. Won't be a very long video. I got to wake up pretty early to get to work and get some stuff done real early tomorrow before the sun wakes up and before China decides to launch their next balloon. Anyway, so welcome and let's talk business. Let's jump right into it. Nowadays, we've had a lot of tumultuousness over the last couple of years. We've run into issues with people not wanting to work. We've run into the issues with many businesses and industries just completely folding up and going away. It's like we're seeing what happened in 2008, but all over again and on a whole new scale. We're in the middle of what's being called the new industrial revolution, in which AI and robotics is taking over all of the positions which were previously held by people. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, Marcus, that's not really a big thing right now. That's not happening so much," or whatever the case is. Well, here's the deal. You really need to look at what's going on and what the trends are in business right now and where business is going. So let's take, for example, a simple business. Let's say, for instance, McDonald's. Okay, let's talk about McDonald's for a couple of seconds. McDonald's is a great business. They have a great concept and they have an even greater system. And with McDonald's, they have a whole book, like they have like a whole book. You can read the book A to B, B to Z, and to WA back and get forth again. And you could run the whole business based off of the book that they have, So it's an easy duplicatable system that's already been put into place. It's shown to be profitable and it's shown to make money. Okay. Now, here's the deal. You look at the employees, and this goes for people who are working, right? So you look for people, you look at the employees. Most of the employees are low and entry level workers, and the jobs don't require much skill. Anybody can do it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, there was a show. It was called, a musical, Broadway musical. It's called Ragtime. If you like musicals, go watch it. But they had Henry Ford was in there. It was in the show for a short, brief clip. And Henry Ford had a line in his song, and the lyric went something like this. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, "Any man can be taught to screw a bolt or twist a nut," and that's really what McDonald's has. They have an operational system in which pretty much anybody can follow it and they can actually do the work. Now, with a lot of entry workers over the last couple of years, we haven't been seeing many people actually work on these entry level jobs, and it's caused a lot of issues with small businesses, okay, and even large businesses. Now, when it comes to that, you say, "Oh, okay, well, it's not a very big issue because it's only certain industries." Yes, it's only certain industries, but it's not about the industries that this is in. This isn't what I want to talk about. What I actually want to talk about is I want to talk about how McDonald's is going about solving that problem, because everything needs to be about solutions, especially when you're in business. You have to see what solutions you can come up to all of the challenging things that you experience every day. And you continue to experience them as you continue in business. That's how business is. A situation comes up, you have to come up with a solution. The whole concept, if you are in business or if you're planning on going into business, I hope for you, is to be working to solve an issue or a problem and offering a solution for a client. That's generally how you're going to be able to assure that you're in a business that's going to be able to continue to be profitable, or even be profitable to begin with, because you have to be selling a solution of some kind in order to get people in the door. Like, what's the solution that McDonald's solves? So McDonald's solves food fast, So it's fast, and now it's called fast food, right? And McDonald's is like the grandfather of that. So fast because people need food fast. Also, it makes food more readily available, not just fast, right? Because there's a McDonald's everywhere. Everywhere there's a McDonald's. If you live in an urban setting, even more so. So, with McDonald's as an example, let's use that as our benchmark on this new industrial revolution that we're on. Okay. McDonald's, over December, they launched their first fully automated store in, I want to say it was Florida. First fully automated store. Very few employees, like, they have an employee that loads the machines and stuff like that. And honestly, that's about it. So that needs to go to show a lot of people it's time to wake up. They've got this giant company that's got a whole book, a whole system that's been working for decades. For decades, it's worked. It's made many people millionaires because they've not only worked at McDonald's, but they've gone through McDonald's college. Yes, McDonald's has their own college that you have to go through to actually own a McDonald's franchise. They are very serious and meticulous about their brand, as should you be if you already have one or if you're working on creating one. It's very important. When you're a person, they say that the only thing that you've got is your word and your name, and you need to defend them both with your life. And that's kind of the same premise with business. In business, you only have your brand. Don't let anybody besmirch your brand. Make sure that you're always carrying it forward in a positive light. Now, with McDonald's making this fully automated restaurant, so that's just one. But if you've been to a McDonald's in the last 5 years, right? You've seen the little new ordering screens. You can order it off your phone. You can do it all of these different ways, which have been slow rolling to further automation. You go into places like Target, Walmart, etc., and they've got a ton of these self-checkout lines. I was actually at Wegmans. You guys might not have Wegmans, but it's one of the big food chains up here that does supermarkets. So actually, I read an interesting thing about them today. 50% of the food that Wegmans sells is now their own brand label. And that we'll cover in another video, but that's just honestly amazing to me. That's the way that you go for market dominance. That right there. And that helps them stay in business and stay in the black and stay profitable. So back to McDonald's and the self-checkouts and stuff. So you figure you go to Walmart, self-checkouts there are pretty much all they already have. That's very serious. And you're like, well, I don't want to check out my own stuff, but you're doing it. But you're doing it. You're actually checking out your own stuff. You're doing the stuff that is somebody else's job. Well, used to be somebody else's job, excuse me, that they are no longer actually having a job for at Walmart. There are like no cashiers. You might get 2 and you're lucky. I was at Walmart earlier today and I believe they had 2 lanes open and it was pretty much packed in there. As far as the self-checkout, all the self-checkout lines were full to the brim, lines down the whole aisle, everything. It was very, very, very crazy. So this is the thing that's going on right now. They want you to check out your own stuff. And those were jobs. And many people didn't see it coming, or they didn't actually say, oh, well, these self-checkouts are going to end up taking away jobs in the future. They looked at it as a convenience. They looked at it as a convenience. So now you take that concept that people look at these things as a convenience. Now people don't look at them as a convenience anymore. People are very upset about the checkout, and they want people to scan their items, right? Because they're like, oh, well, I'm working and they're not paying me, or whatever the case is. See, here's the problem. You kind of let this happen to begin with because you didn't push back against it. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. This is the direction that we were going. Further automation, it had to come. Here's the problem. In the period of the last couple of years in which people just stopped deciding that they wanted to go to work or they wanted to do entry-level jobs, it has hastened the automation of these jobs tenfold. Easy. if you go and we take Walmart as an example, Walmart has stores in which they have machines going around scanning everything to see where they're missing stock so that it can be restocked. Some of the stores even have other machines that go and restock the stuff. I saw one store had robots that go and pick the stuff off of the shelves to put out for the pickup orders. Now that's extremely interesting. So what that should be telling you is somebody who might be interested in starting a business, or as somebody who's in business already, that we are on the cusp of something major that really needs to be paid attention to. So right now you need to be thinking, how can you continue to stabilize the market that you're in, or venture into a further market and capitalize on that as far as options in that go. We've got, let's say, for instance, and I'll give you a for instance. Do you grow vertical or do you grow horizontal? And we'll talk about that in another episode. But here, the thing is are you going to stay in your lane and possibly get run over by this monster truck that is automation and AI and robotics? Because it's coming. If you're not familiar with Chat GPT, I encourage you to look into it and look it up. Now, this is just one form of AI that is taking the world by storm right now. And this AI isn't even hooked up to the internet as far as resources go. So it's like it can't get actual real-time data from the world right now, as of right now. Now, if they did, there are other machine learning things and other AI operations that can use Chat GPT, but also can access some information from online. And we are getting to the point in which those are not going to be taking away the entry-level jobs. They're not going to be taking away the customer-facing jobs immediately. But what they will be taking away is middle management, and they will be taking away many other jobs that you once perceived to be for people. For example, I'll give you a great example. Grant Cardone is a guy that I like very much that does business. He's a sales professional by trade. He's got a great life story, but we're not going to talk about him like that today. But he said something the other day about having a copywriter, you know? So a copywriter basically is supposed to write different pieces for you for either your social media or blog or whatever the case is. And they're supposed to make it intriguing. They're supposed to make it catchy. They're supposed to make it so people want to read more and buy more. That's the job of a copywriter. And Grant was saying that he had a copywriter and he was saying, hey, man, you're not going fast enough. You're not working fast enough, you know? And he's like, I used Chat GPT earlier and I already created 5 copyright things already, you know? And it's interesting, right? Because the copywriter was like, oh, well, I'm going to quit. So the copywriter quit. Now, what the copywriter should have said is, well, how can I improve? What do you think would be more beneficial? And they should have sought out how that they can do better at the job that they already have. Because now they're going to have to go find another job. Now they're going to have to go find another job. And if you think that this employer that they had right then saw this and they said, hey, man, this will work better than the person that I've got hired right now. If you don't think that they're going to struggle in their field and in their profession, somebody needs to wake up, because you can't just do that in this day and age. People don't realize the serious transition period that we're going through right now. Here's another thing in relation to that, right? So that's a copywriter. That's just one job, right? But this AI, specifically this one, right? Like, we're not even talking about the ones that create music or make pictures or anything like that. Like, jobs are really going to be in short supply in the near future. So if you have a plan for a business, if you have a business already, you need to be focusing on how you can magnify and work with what you already have. How can you build off of what you have? Okay. Not everybody has the same resources. Okay. You want to be a billionaire, but you ain't got but $1 in your pocket. You got to figure out how to work with what you got. There's this TV show, 90 Day Millionaire, where Grant Cardone started multi-million-dollar business. I think it ended up being like worth $15 million in 90 days or something ridiculous like that. And he only started off with $100 and his brain and his know-how. So it shows that you can do miraculous things if you focus on what your target is, what your goal is, and where you want to go, while using whatever vehicle you have to get there. So if in that case it's $100, you understand what I'm saying? If you've got a business already and you've got these business assets already, how are you going to get to your target? Or even, do you even have a target, which is a very large issue with many of the clients that I work with right now. Like, many of them don't even have targets to begin with, and we have to work on target and goal setting because it's very important. It's very important to have targets and goals. You know, I offer a whole seminar on targets and goals because it's that important, you know. And it's a multi-day seminar because that's how important it is. There's so much to cover when it comes to that type of stuff. It's really serious when you have stuff and you're not, how can I say it simply? You're not maximizing your potential, right? So let's say you as a person, you're at work, right? You're working a job. You don't like your job, so you want to leave. Well, you want to leave your job, but are you the best at your job? Like, are you maximizing the education and the learning of the job that you have? Like, are you the best janitor? Like, I don't want to do this job. Are you the best janitor yet to say that you don't want to do the job? Like, what have you gained from this that you could have possibly gained from the job that you're working right now, right? Let's say you're a mental health professional. You're working in the mental health field. Have you gained all of the information that you can from the job that you're currently working at before you go try to do something else and go work for somebody else or go try to start your own business? These are a lot of things that people don't think about because we are not trained to have the right mindset. We're not trained to deal with what we have already going on and then see how we can maximize the potential there. We're trained to have a scarcity mindset or to have a less than mindset, which is a really popular thing they like to teach in schools right now. Right now, they teach in schools that one race is the oppressors and one race is the downtrodden and the disadvantaged, which is a whole crock of crap, but that's not even for this video tonight. The fact of the matter is that schools are a terrible education system. You go to school for 14, 15 years, and what do they teach you? Absolutely nothing worthwhile. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you how to critically think. They don't even teach you how to participate in government anymore. They don't teach you any civics. Like, what is going on with the school system? I'll tell you what's going on with the school system. It was never developed to actually be to your benefit. Before the early 1900s, it was no public school. Everything was private school. Then Rockefeller, and I want to say, what was it? JP Morgan Chase, not JP Morgan Chase, JP Morgan, Chase Manhattan, combining the business that they have now because they combined years ago. But JP Morgan and Rockefeller came together to fund the public school system, So they gave them an endowment to train people to be workers. That's why you see the desks set up in rows still, to teach people how to work in factory. That's why you see that they train them to be of one thought, of one straight, direct thing. It has to be like this, and we're going to teach you these things, and you're going to regurgitate them back, and you're not going to think about it critically, and you're not going to actually exercise your brain. You're not going to learn about stuff that you actually like or you actually care about or that are actually even going to be beneficial to you. And this is the way the school system is set up. So every time you're going to work, you need to be maximizing whatever learning that you can get from that position that you are in so that you can be the best at that position. Okay? Because the better that you are at your position, the better that you can be to get more money. And that's for real. That's for really, really real. And a lot of people don't look at it like that. They look, oh, I'm working for somebody else. I'm making them money. Well, are you learning the skills that the job entails in order to actually say, hey, I'm able to do this job, do it well, And I can do this as a professional. It's been said the difference between a professional and an amateur is an amateur keeps doing it until they get it right. And a professional does it until they can't get it wrong. And that's a very, very, very important thing to think about. Okay. Whenever you're doing anything, not just a job, but when you're trying to focus on building your business, you need to be focused on how you can maximize the potential you have, how you can maximize and master whatever the field is that you're going into. You need to focus on your learning and education in whatever that particular field is, so that you can maximize your own individual potential as an individual, so that you can maximize the potential in the field that you are in to grow that field. That's why they have conferences. That's why they have books and classes and all types of other things to help you grow and develop. A lot of people get upset and they don't like consulting or coaching. And I do consulting and I also do coaching. Matter of fact, if you're interested in business or personal coaching or consulting, I do it. Check out my website, Marcus. I'm about to give you my political website. No, my regular thing is marcuscwilliams.net. So check it out, marcuscwilliams.net. It should be in the comments there. You can say, hey, I'm interested in some personal or business coaching, and I'll reach out to you and we can get together and work on some stuff with you. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of people don't like consulting and stuff like that. They say, oh, it's useless, it's pointless. It's not. A lot of people don't like, inspirational speaking and encouragement speaking and motivational speaking, stuff like that. They like, oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because you don't work it. It's a system you got to put in to get out. If you're not going to put the energy in, you're not going to get out. So a lot of times with clients, I'll help them build out their plans and their timelines and their targets and stuff like that. And then people don't always like to follow through and do what they need to do. And then they'll tell you that it doesn't work, but it does work. It does work. It works if you work it. And you might have heard this before, but you'll probably hear it from me many times over. The system works if you work it. You understand what I'm saying? That's something that's very important and integral for everybody to start to understand more of. Now, everybody has different skills. Everybody has different amounts of money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? You might not even have any money in the bank, but you might be really good at doing nails. You know, you might like and enjoy doing nails. You might want to take that on from a hobby and make that into a business. Now, I'm not encouraging you to go into the business. You need to do some research into that field to see if you believe that it will be able to continue to go through, because I just saw them put a machine that does a whole set of nails for $15, and it does them in like 5 minutes or something ridiculous like that. Some robot. And this goes back to this new industrial revolution that we're in and how everything's going AI and machines and stuff. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing: a robot will do your nails faster, will do it more precise, and will be able to do more results without getting tired and in more intricate patterns. Give me 1 second. But you need to think, is the business that you're in right now going to be one of the businesses that comes out the other side of what we're experiencing presently? And if it is, how can you maximize your potential in the meantime? And I encourage all of you guys that are listening to this that are either interested in starting a business or have a business, go to my website, marcuscwilliams.net, marcuscwilliams.net. And if you're interested in personal or business coaching or development, I also do leadership training and other things. Just check the little box, sign up, and I'll reach out to you because you said you were interested. And we'll see what we can help you with and help you achieve, because I want to see you be able to maximize your potential. That means so much to me. My whole life goal is to help build better people. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a coach and consultant. It's very, very important to me. But like I said, we're in the middle of one of the greatest transition periods in the history of humanity. And it is happening so fast. Faster than you can snap, it's happening. Okay. Over and over again, we see more and more things change. Floosh, floosh, floosh. Just gone, changing, different. All of the sudden, complete industries. I saw we had the governor and some other people come down to Rochester, the area where I am now, and they were at the GM plant, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just got all this money so that they can invest it in stuff here." And when I was listening to them talk about the investment, I want to say it was $41 million. Don't quote me on that, because it was like 21 million plus some other money plus some other stuff. But the total, I think the total grant or whatever they got from the state, money they got from the state, was like $410, $10 million or something like that. It was up there. And it was supposed to be split between the different plants that they have across the country. I mean, across New York State. Interesting thing about that was I didn't hear them mention one thing about jobs. I didn't hear not one thing about what they were talking about that would either retain or increase the number of jobs. Now, what the people who work for GM said the money was going to be used for was it was going to be used for making new parts and stuff for electric vehicles. Now, we know a lot of those electric vehicle parts and stuff are built with robots, not by humans. Okay. They also said that they were going to be working on some more new fuel efficient. I want to say they said V6 engines, something like that. It's not really important to the nature of the story, but you can go look it up if you want to. But the point is that they said that that's what they're going to be using the money for, but none of what they said was talking about job retention or job creation. And these are the things that we need to focus on going forward in the future. Are you going to be able to people that job, right? Like, is it going to be able to be done by a person that you need a person, or is that job going to be done by a robot? Or are robots going to push your whole industry out of business? Is the AI on the computer programs, the machine learning, whatever the case, going to push you out of business? People need to be very aware of that, because certain industries are very much in the place of the possibility of extreme turnover. We look at the hotel industry. We mentioned janitorial work earlier, janitors. I saw, I'm familiar with a company actually that manufactures these robot janitors, basically is what they are. They clean bathrooms, bro. It's out of control. They clean the bathrooms so good, and it's awesome, right? But it's terrible if you're a janitor, right? And you're trying to work in that field. So these are the things that you have to consider when you're working on moving forward. You also have to, again, go back and consider what you have right now, what tools you have at your disposal, and how you can maximize them. I'm going to sign off because I got to get up real early before the sun shines or the cock crows, because I got some business to handle tomorrow morning. So you guys be blessed, be well. I'll catch up with you later, and make sure that you check out my website, marcuscwilliams.net, if you're interested in business or personal coaching. I'll catch you guys later. Be